Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Daunais, and today I'd like to introduce you to Waking Soundly, a music-led meditation aid that encourages you to tune in and zone out. So, with this project, I wanted to combine my education with music with my abilities as a software developer. So my idea was to create a solution for people wanting to find small moments of rest throughout the day without needing to use distractions like alarms or a clock or your phone for constantly checking the time. So, using music to guide a restful experience can really keep your brain calm and focused. So I'd like to lead you guys through a brief demo just to show you what it looks like, and then I can get into the details of what's really going on. So when you first come into Waking Soundly, you'll be prompted to choose a few keys of music. You can choose anywhere from 2 to all 12 of them. Then from there, you'll choose a background to view while you're listening, and then you can choose a duration for how long you'd like the music to last. And from there, what you'll hear is something like this. This is one example of some of the music that's built into the base application of Waking Soundly. For Waking Soundly, I wrote 144 default tracks that will be woven together as you listen to them. So, excuse me. So, of the 144 default tracks, that includes both main songs in each of the keys, as well as transitions between each of the keys. What you'll hear is this seamless flow from a song in one key to a transition to a song in a new key. And what this structure allows for is constantly experiencing this perpetual feelings of tension followed by release that are inherent in key changes. Another thing I wanted to build into the music is that all the music is built around drones. In music, a drone is a single pitch that's repeated or sustained throughout the whole song. Drones can often be found in a lot of sacred music, and the reason for this is that there's this phenomenon that happens where our minds can find a lot of calm and peace through monotony. And so I wanted to use these concepts of repetition and tension and release to inform your body and your brain to come into these states of relaxation. So, how does it work? When you choose the keys and the music that you'd like to hear, I built a system that pulls from the database any music that corresponds with your choices. And then from there, it will keep track of the current key of the current song, find a transition that matches that key, and then find a new song that matches the key at the end of that transition. What this creates is an opportunity for countless combinations of sounds being woven together as you're listening to them. So one thing I really wanted to incorporate is giving the user the opportunity to feel creative and explore sound in their own way. So, when you log into Waking Soundly, what you'll have access to is my music. From there, you can go to Beatbox, which is an open source synthesizer, and using the unique URL on their site, you can take your music over to Waking Soundly. Now, when you add the song, you will have the opportunity to edit in case you made any mistakes, maybe you put it in the wrong key. And note that your music doesn't need to be revolutionary, it just needs to be something that makes you happy. And once you're happy with what you have created, you can go back to the home page, and now you'll have the opportunity to incorporate your music with all the other music in the application in all of your sessions. And your music will be woven together with all this other music. So the build for my application, for the backend, I use Django to store all the users and music. I also use Knox authentication tokens to keep track of logged in users. Then for the front end, I used React.js as well as CSS for styling, and then I used Redux to manage global state and pass down any information about the users or the music. Now for the music side of things, I used Beatbox. As I mentioned earlier, it's an open source synthesizer. I used it to create all of the default music for the application, and I also used their JavaScript library. What this is using the URL in their site, it takes the embedded information in that URL and can break it down into music information and be used to play back the music in the browser. I also used this to create my own dynamic events like fade-ins and fade-outs, and I also tweaked the code a little bit, because in its default state, any song that plays will be looped back infinitely, and so I tweaked their code to where it'll just play once through, and then it'll break so that I can move on to the next song. So a few things that I learned. I knew that I wanted to use JavaScript because the Beatbox library is written in that language, and also I was quite comfortable using React. I also knew that I wanted to use Django's built-in user model for handling authentication. Originally I was dealing with React and Django completely decoupled, but I ran into some issues handling the authentication between the two. So what I learned to do was build a React app completely from scratch inside of my Django project, and from there I could use Redux to more efficiently handle the communication between the actions on the front end with the authentication paths on the back. So for a few future enhancements, I'd like to make a journaling section. What this would be is, it would give users the opportunity to, after they've listened to a session, if they really enjoyed what they heard, they could save their music and the settings that they used to find those combinations, and then jot down a few thoughts on why they liked it, so that they can come back to that later for similar reasons. I also want to incorporate song sharing. This would be for the more creative users. People that create their own music for their own sessions. I want to give them the opportunity to share their music with their friends, or even with the whole community of users that use the app. I want to create a page where you can explore these sounds that other creators have made and incorporate them into your own sessions. So I encourage all of you to explore sound and find your places of rest. You can find any of my other projects at andrewdaunais.com. My name is Andrew Daunais, and I thank you so much for your time.